Hello and welcome back to the U.S. Army Presents Reload Collegiate CSGO Invitational. Make sure you head over and visit GoArmy.com and learn about 150 different career opportunities available now in esports in the U.S. Army working together to make things better. So again, I'm Corey Dunn. I'm joined here with Jonathan O. We're in our second map of this Group B. We just watched our first one. It was a little tough.
If you blinked, you missed it, and that's why we're already into the second match.
But that's the reality of what we've got. So many different teams that are competing. 28 teams at the start of this tournament. We've already narrowed down to 27. So the fact is, we've been flying by on stuff like that one day at a time. Each time we're going to knock out two or one team each day, and by the end of these 8 days of groups, we'll be down to 16 teams. Well, that brings us here to our next matchup. Let's go ahead and take a look here. You've got here on your schedule. We just saw UConn versus Oklahoma State. 16-0. That is not a typo. That is not a template error. It is what it is. That's what happened on DE Vertigo. That then takes us to our next matchup, which is happening right now. The Miami University, Ohio versus Tulsa. Then after that, we'll see who UConn plays against next. And that will be the winner of that one will go advance to the playoffs. And we'll see if Oklahoma State can kind of redeem themselves from that previous matchup. And that's how the day is going to go, with one final matchup ending at roughly 6 p.m., determining the last team to advance to the playoffs out of Group B. Now let's take a look at the teams that we have coming at you. We've got Miami University, Ohio. Look at that set. Arms crossed, super professional, nice little jersey action that's going on. You got Glaze, Hybrid, Prospection, as well as Saiku, and Trinity Lord. That's a clean-looking little team there.
Absolutely is. And a coin term that I heard from one of the Hearthstone folks a while back is that's the quintessential esports pose.
Oh, yeah. Look, but the fact is you see they've got Apple Watches as well. You had to make sure that consideration. Oh, what does that note say? I need somebody to go ahead and tell me what that said. They had an event calendar on a certain day. So if somebody can tell me what Hybrid's Apple Watch says. Now, they were smart over here. They were smart over there for Trinity Lord. He actually has a cover of a graphic that's there. But let's take a look at the other team that we have on the opposite side. We've got Tulsa. Of course, this is Asian Bro, which I believe is actually I had a note here. I apologize, but I'll get you the actual name for him as well. DeGinger, Hamboozy, Purpur, as well as Obe. They'll all be joining us against the other team. Of course, I love the fact it may not be jerseys, but you do have a Go Tulsa and a Tulsa hoodie. So at least they're still respecting the university, the college that they go to. That's Tulsa Esports. Now, let's take a look. How does this pick bands work? You've got Nuke, Dust 2, Train, Vertigo, Overpass, Inferno, which left us with Mirage. Let's go ahead and kind of break this down a little bit further. What do you think about Tulsa's bands?
Well, looking at here, we've got Nuke, we've got Train. That's the two that you would mention, the couple, so to speak. Once you see those two together, you kind of know what you're in for. And then the last one on their side being Overpass. So I don't think there's really anything surprising here. This is seeming to be a pretty standard ban phase. Mirage, I think, is almost the most common map we might see throughout this tournament, other than Inferno, but ultimately that's like I think the most layup since map. When I first started playing, the first map that I immediately recognized was Mirage, and I think for a lot of these teams it's a comfort pick. So Vertigo going out a lot sooner this time around. Not trying to get to that close, but it's something that I want to know every time we see these pick bans. We're always seeing Inferno going almost last, which means a lot of these teams, it's on that note we've been talking about, is Mirage and Inferno. Those are like the layup maps.
One of the bits of information that I want to share with you. So coming into this matchup, actually, I believe it was, oh goodness, one of the Miami actually had the higher seed in this group, and so what they elected to do is they wanted to pick second. And so basically what that meant is that this is the same thing that happened in the previous matchup as well. Whenever we saw UConn elected to ban second. And the reason why you'd want to do something along those lines is the fact is when you get to the 6th map or the 6th ban of that set, you actually have the choice to be able to choose. So actually that's where Miami, they were the ones that were really selecting the difference whether they wanted to do Inferno or Mirage, and I think both of those maps are very similar. similar. So we kind of ended up in a very the same vein, though. You can see Tulsa getting rid of Nuke. You see Tulsa getting rid of Train, and you see Tulsa getting rid of Overpass. And, of course, Vertigo was gotten rid of. I would have expected that if Miami did not get rid of Vertigo, I would have expected that Tulsa would have on their third ban. So I think that's something that we'll see quite a bit of throughout most of this tournament. You'll see very similar bans all the way across the board, as we were mentioning just a second ago.
Absolutely. So, Corey, before we start getting into the match, I have to ask you one question. So
Yep.
I'm going to get myself positioned.
Get your esports pose on.
How is it?
Oh, wait. Make sure you can't see what's on my Apple Watch.
Hold on. You got to, hold on. Oh, yeah, I've got to show my watch. Yeah,
There you go.
gotta
There it is. Got it. Go ahead.
Hold on.
Nice. That's that esports pose. You probably should hit it with the other camera over there. Let's see. Let's take a look at it.
Hold on. I got to angle that. If we're going to this camera right over here.
Yeah, hit that one. Let's see what's on. Let's see what's on two. Nothing.
Wait
Nothing.
for
No,
it.
we're not. There it is.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. I got to get the
All right,
stance.
Get rid of the. All right, there it is. Oh yeah.
Hold on. Do you go chin up or chin down? Are you really confident? Or you're determined?
No. You're confident.
Do you go head on? Is this the intimidating
It
look?
doesn't matter as we're going to hop into our next game. We've got Mirage, Tulsa versus Miami University, and we have started the knife round. Oh, damn. It always gets me. Always gets me. Dang it.
You didn't
I'm out.
esports pose hard enough.
I'm out.
If you would have done esports pose, you would have known that we were going to knife round.
Maybe I should cover that screen so I don't see it until it's time. Can we blacken out that screen while we wait? Now, all right, so again, we're on Team Mirage, but the whole production crew doing a great job. They were not relying on me, which is probably a good call on that one. So Tulsa and Miami University on from Ohio here on DE Mirage. There's your A-bomb site. There's your B1, and we're ticking away before we begin the pistol round. We are in upper bracket round 1B. Oh, man. And for those of you that want to stay in tune with what we've got going on here in the tournament, make sure you head over to brackets.esportstadium.gg. Get a little game audio here, and we'll get things kicked off.
So, Corey, the last thing we saw on the flyover was the B apartments, and then it seems where Tulsa is making their hit. They have about 5 players all the way over, and if I had to take a pick for this map, I'm going to go with Miami just because they have O in their name, and my name is O, so O's got to support one another. We're seeing a smoke already taking place that is going to land right into market. They got flashes out. The 5 people are trickling out, and they're going to have to see how this goes. Purper finding the first, and the Ginger finding the second, Asian Bro finding the third. That is a clean take on the B bomb site, and already in a retake situation for the side of Miami, Ohio.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so dirty. It looks like he even headshot him, and then he got headshotted back. A 5-man sweep. Tulsa. Man, my prediction came a little bit too soon, and then you know what they call that? In fighting game community, they call it the commentator's curse.
Yeah, we don't talk about fighting games in Counter-Strike.
This is a fighting game. They're just fighting with guns.
I'll allow that to happen. It looks like we're going to have to pause for a second. Obe is actually dropped from the server. But as we look at it, so one of the things I mentioned, Asian Bro is actually MOP. So you'll see that anytime that you see up in the kill feed, it will say Asian Bro. They are, again, we're using Faceit. So Faceit will have their Faceit IDs in-game. And so we'll see that. It looks like we have been able to get back into it. Look at that. That's technology working, where we can be able to get out of the game, hop back in, feel more comfortable, no problems. We move on. Again, a huge shout-out to NACCS for helping out as well throughout this entire tournament. Also confirming that all the teams are collegiate teams, as well as helping us run this tournament. So again, shout-out to NACCS as well. Make sure you join that Discord if you haven't yet. Scouts being brought to you by Glaze here inside of mid, and he's going to go ahead and take a look over there towards Catwalk. Oh, man, I love it. 2 scouts.
I'm going to let you just take this round, Corey. For those who don't know, that is definitely the favorite gun. Now there's only one left in the hands of Trinity Lord, and they're going to have to make some work.
Sean Gares also enjoys some scouts. So it's not just me. I'm not the only person in the world that likes scouts. But here we go. You got Trinity Lords picked up at least one here. There is 2 players that have been eliminated from Tulsa. They're taking their time, and that's a smart call there from the bomb carrier. Ginger has actually decided to fall all the way back. They know the A bomb site is completely clear, but they've closed down market. I guess it's been quarantined as well. All right, so MOP. He's going to be holding right there. Let's see. See if they've got some time. That's actually going to be Purper. That's right on the other side of the corner. This is a very standard position, but Trinity Lord, you have to be smart here. You have to think about it. I've got this AK. Do I think we can win this round? It is a 2-on-3. There is potential, but Trinity Lord does not have health, and he does not have armor. And so those MAC-10s, those weapons, are not really going to be that helpful. As you can see, he's trying to bait a little bit here. He sees a shot. Purper is going to go, I'm going to go ahead and peek now, and he does eliminate him. That's why those things, I was like, There's not a right or wrong call. There's just a way to play that, and there's two different ways to be able to play that situation. I would have kept the AK and tried to be able to save it for this third round. Again, it's not that mission critical. The reason why, because they're not going to be buying here anyway, so they probably wouldn't end up with the AK. But that one weapon could actually make an impact going into covering or holding down a particular bomb site. He could have been staying inside of the A-bomb site, held the AK, and maybe have eliminated two, gave his teammates some additional weapons, so forth. Instead, they're going to have to rush up inside of mid. They picked up two this time. Nice job, as they've got two of them. I'm curious if they had head armor, because you see Glaze with that headshot there. But it was a little bit of a team action, so they've been able to pick up weapons. This is what I was talking about. See, now you could have had 3 AKs in this scenario. But they may have played it differently, too. They may have not rushed up inside of mid if they would have had that AK. So I won't linger too long on it. Probably talk about it for another 10 minutes. But so here we have it, 2-0 right now.
Man, you're really feeling it, aren't you, Corey? I just let you keep talking ever since that quarantine comment. You've been on fire. But it seems like the bomb site's on fire as the bomb is going down. That's one player under B apps, and Glaze trying to take it with the USB. As you mentioned, they could have had 3 AKs, but they have 2, and that might be enough. They do not have a kit, so they've got to get moving here. Glaze being taken down, but Prospection able to find 1. So it's now a 2v2. It is now a 1v1. He knows they want players through A main. He's poking out. He didn't have to poke out, but that's going to do it. And he's going to have enough time, just barely.
Oh, he did not have enough time. And this is smart. He's definitely trying to get out of there fast enough before the bomb actually explodes. And he's right. I was about to say, he is right on the edge for him to be able to get away. Now, we take another look here. Look at this spray control. He now sees he knows where the last one's at, and I think it was a good call for I apologize, I don't remember who the member from Tulsa was over on A ramp, but he played that correctly. Because the reality is there wasn't enough time at that point. And I take that back because you don't know if he had a kit or not. So that was a tough round, but this will be our first gun round coming in for Miami. So we'll see how this one really pans out. We'll take a look over the overall at the setup coming in from Miami. You've got Trinity Lore, looks like he's going to be holding it down inside of mid, allowing his teammate Glaze, who's already pushing up. He had the pop flash, but Obe was waiting for it. Says, thank you, I'll take that one. Let me see if I got a teammate over here, and there is not one. So he's going to continue to clear out inside of mid. I think we're going to have a good game on our hands out here.
Oh, absolutely. This A hit seems very strong. One player poking it through apps, and now Kyber's holding it through Ticket Booth. He's getting some reinforcements, 3 on the side of him, but the Ginger's very far up. He can find a lot of picks here, so they've got to be careful with that position. Oh, he's making some noise now, just trying to get out. And there was a
Saiku
flank coming in from Connector. Prospection, the guy who did the 1v3 last round, or was able to find 3 flags last round, is the one staying alive now. And they're falling like flies, Corey. 1 left, and it is no longer the case. So Miami of Ohio taking their first round of the board, and coincidentally, the first round they had guns on the board. So I'll be curious to see how that shapes up the game plan of Tulsa a little bit, maybe try to go for a little slower. I will say their A hit was good. They got on site, they got what they needed, they just didn't win their gunfights. Yep. I think they could have set up better angles for themselves, and no one was watching Connector, which ultimately kind of shook things up for them. Everyone started getting frantic and looking around, and now you see they're opting to save to have a better round 6 for themselves. Meanwhile, on the side of Miami, Ohio, they've got everything they need. They've got the AWP, and Prospection's the only one without a gun. He's got a deagle.
No, you're correct on the fact that, Saiku had the flank there going towards Connector, towards stairs. There was that opening, and he was able to take out the player from Ticket, but there's too much focus. So, the fact is you had heard so many shots that was happening over by Ticket Booth, and then from there, Saiku said, all right, I'll take it. And that created a whole new opening, caused a lot of worry from the side from Tulsa. Bomb carry right now inside of the apartments. This is kind of goes back to the fact of how much Miami's actually caused an impact. They basically put them immediately into a scenario where they have to go quickly to a save round. But look at the difference of what we've seen from last game. See how their save round is, they bought pistols that they wanted, and they got themselves down to that $2,000 number. That is just very basic Counter-Strike. The fundamentals of Counter-Strike whenever you work in the economy system is making sure, especially on the T side, that you get down about that 2K area, so that way you can buy your AK, your full nade set, armor, what have you.
Now we're seeing again a Connector hit coming from Tulsa. They smoking off Connector, and missing the jump there, but he's going to try it again, see if that. Okay, he's just going to take the boost. Now he will.
The first jump, that was right there. Nice shot by Prospection. And he has another chance. Oh man, he almost had himself a third one, as Hamza, as he had an opportunity there.
And the thing to keep in mind, that Prospection was the only guy on the team with no gun, so they didn't even gain anything out of that. He just found 2 quick deagle kills and now Glaze, leaving it all down to the Ginger with his deagle. He's got to do a lot here. He's got 14 seconds.
Yeah.
At this point, I think you kind of need to die, and there he goes. Psycho able to take him down with the The reason I'm saying that is, for those unfamiliar, if you die, or if you do not die on the terrorist side and the time runs out, you do not get the money bonus. So he would have been left at whatever he had the value of then, minus the 2,400 that he received at the end of the round. If you die after time, you still don't get that money. So making sure he's on board with his team. Everyone's got their buys. They've got the utility set up for themselves now. Not everything they need as far as the utility, but they've got enough. I think that could give them a good hit somewhere, and it looks like they're trying to take it towards mid, get some information. Sending one guy to B-Abs and then sending one to A main, seeing what they can fill out. And it seems like Tulsa's okay with giving up mid.
Yeah, so Trinity Lord right now, he's the one that's watching connector catwalk area with that AWP. We'll always take note that Saiku's watching over towards the apartments with his AWP. He's backed with Prospection, who's what we saw earlier. Kybrid wins that gunfight over towards A ramp. And so Prospection slowly working his way up. We're probably about to see Glaze peek out inside of mid, and he gets smoked off there. He's just checking to see if he saw anything. That was nothing happened there. But now we're back on board with Trinity. Trinity Lord's got one player just on the other side. We're just waiting for him to decide to start to peek out. There he is. He peeks and he misses the shot. And so Hamza takes that one and wins that 1v1 fight.
Yeah, that one's got to hurt. He had it. He had everything. He was waiting that exact angle. That's one of those moments where you look at your radar for a fraction of a second, and the next thing you know, you're getting dinged. So that's unfortunate time for there, but nothing too progressive on the side of Tulsa. They're getting some position
Glaze,
towards mid, and Glaze has his back turned, didn't expect it.
Hamza could have been able to pick him off, and now they've given up that point, and so Hamza's in a really good scenario where he can basically split him up, but Glaze on that rotate. He was up on top of Ticket Booth, but they don't know that Kybrid's there as well. Kybrid picks up one. Now can Glaze continue here, help out the train here. Nice idea, trying to shoot through the wall, but that molly, but Prospection from Catwalk. He's able to spray them down from afar, and so Miami making the best out of that scenario, and now the score's 3-3 now.
I think that Tulsa had a great opportunity there. Try to take someone through CT, maybe catch the rotation off, or even hold mid to see if anyone was coming from Cat, just as perspective. Okay, I'm not going to try. I'm just going to say pro from now on. I'm struggling right now. But as we saw, that there was no one watching Connector, and that seems to be their downfall right now. This is the second time we've seen that same player in pro going out from Catwalk or going out from Connector, able to find a player and just throwing off the whole plan of the A hit. But they're going for the A hit once again, and they're already on site. 5 members. We're going to have to see the rotation coming on for Miami University of Ohio, and that's just going to look like it's going to be a clean 5. It is not. The Ginger able to find one down to 20 health, and he's got a mighty task in front of him. Not going to complete, and there you go. The lead now on the side of Miami, Ohio. 4-3. We're going into round 8. We're going to have guns on both sides here, Corey, and this is a pretty make-or-break round for the side of Tulsa. Yeah, they're going to have their loss bonuses, but they're not going to have great money on their side if they lose.
We'll see what I mean. I'm really liking the rotates that are happening from Miami. They're actually doing a really good job of clustering together and helping one another. There's a lot of good team shooting that's happening as well. Kybrid, who's been challenging the A ramp, this time he gets punished by Ginger.
Immediate rotation. Look at that. Both players from B immediately running over. Tulsa's got to find a fast way in if they're going to take this A site, and it looks like there's a team kill coming out. That is not what you want to see.
That's probably a bad nade that happened, not just the fact that he killed his teammate. I think it bounced off of an edge somewhere, and it ended up there. Oh, but the fire comes in and takes down Mop. Wow, look at that. They're retaking the site even though they didn't even get the bomb planted. That is, again, one of the things that there's a challenge that happens for some teams is that they over-rotate, but they're flooding through a single channel. What you saw just then, they definitely over-rotated, but the fact is that they were flooding multiple channels. And so what that means is it limits the ability for your opponent to actually rotate around. It takes too long. They'd had to go through T-spawn to get all the way towards the B-bomb site. So again, these rotations are very crisp. But let's go take a look on the other side of the map. You've got a huge rush. Let's go. You've got Saiku who's going to have to fall back.
Oh, look at that grenade damage.
And so, man, that nade caused so much damage. And there's the fire underneath, and they don't realize that. They were jumping from heaven and fell into hell, as now you're left up with Hamza as the last one standing in the 1v5, and he's going to get dropped. That's insane.
Corey, you just took my line. I was going to... I'll let you have that one, but it is 6-3. Miami has completely turned this one around. It was 3-0 in the favor of Tulsa, and it just seems as if, as something we mentioned earlier, is the rotations. That's the name of the game here. Every time they've had success on getting to that A site, they've had mixed results on getting the bomb down, but they have gone to A site every time they've wanted it, and then the rotations are what's killing them. I feel like maybe they need to find an A hit, get what they can, wait for the rotation, and then play it patiently. I feel like they're getting a little bit too aggressive trying to open up, and there you see aggressive, as we're speaking of it, aggressive push through mid. So Glaze opening up the map, seeing that mid's wide open, and that's another pick on A, and that's. It seems like now they're starting to get a little bit flustered. We're seeing just small picks, one individual picks around the map, and
no trades.
Exactly, not even the opportunity to set up for trades. And so now there's 2 players A main, the 3rd player is wrapping around CT.
Who is that? Is that Glaze? No, Prospection's already so far up inside of mid. That closes off that entire choke point at that point. And the Glaze giving some cover fire over the top. Again, this was what I was talking about before. Now they're going to adjust. Look how fast they adjusted. Kybrid's now went. He was watching over there towards Palace, and now Kybrid's there watching. They completely switched roles there, but here comes round. Is now left up to Mop, last man standing. He's going to fall back. He's got a lot of time. He's got the bomb. He can toy with this one for a little bit, but the rotates that are happening are so on point.
Exactly, and that's, as you were mentioning, it's all about the team play. So he's going to try to make his way through Palace. We haven't seen a quite hit from this before, but we also haven't seen a 1v3 situation for Mob, so he's going to have to play it slow. And this is the important part. They've got 3 people on A right now, and he's been taking it slow enough to maybe that they're considering he's going for a B hit. Actually, if you look at that, no one's even moved.
Why would you? We can retake together as a 3-man team. And you've got enough money. You're not concerned about the other team having money, so they just, what I said is, hey, instead of us losing a member over there on another bomb site and separating and having 1 player in B and 2 over in A, and then losing that player in B, then you have a 1-on-2, which you might have some single battles. I think it was really smart. There's no reason you have to be concerned about them getting a bomb plan or anything like that. So I thought it was a smart play by them holding together. One of the things that, John, I want to ask you. This is a really, really, really serious question.
Oh, that's how I know it's not a very serious question.
You know me too well. Do you think that Miami University, Ohio is actually wearing their jerseys at home? Like right now?
That's actually a pretty serious question.
I'm just curious.
Honestly, I would say just given their team play, I would think so. They've been playing super solid every single time we're seeing one opportunity for a trade or any teamwork at all. They've always been there. Their setups have been great. Their rotations have been great. It seems like their communication's on point. They're absolutely working as a solid team. And so has Tulsa. It just seems like they've lost a little bit of their momentum. And now they're just getting caught out in mid, but that's a nice trade.
Glaze, he was getting team shot there. I think Glaze actually, it showed that he was blind, but we didn't have his perspective at that time. All right, so now you can see the rotate. You allowed Prospection to actually stay over there inside of B. Now, Saiku trying to make a decision. Do I help out my teammate? This is a tough. I don't agree with this position that Trinity Lord was playing with. He does win the battle, but I still don't agree with that.
Hey, sometimes that's all you need is just raw skill, raw firepower to make questionable decisions turn into the right ones. We've seen that many times with the like of Simple doing crazy things, but now we have Mob finding another pick.
Let's backtrack for a second. That's Simple. Now, there's still the youth that is going to come up here, and we're going to see many more Simples, at least we can hope for. But it is now down to a 2-on-2. Tulsa found an opening inside of A, but we'll see the rotate here. Oh, just caught the edge of him. Degendra's down to 22 HP. He's on fire in the spray. Prospection. Does he just know where to throw all of these these incendiary grenades? Like, he has done so well. You've seen several times where the bomb plant continues to catch people on fire. Here's another look. So he saw him on the AD, and then this is where he tried to wide peek him. Hamza trying to wide peek him. It was an easy flick at that point for Trinity. I said it was slow motion. So you saw what he was able to do there with that flick. I still don't. It's one of those hard ones. You can get easily headshotted in those scenarios.
So at that point, if I'm Tulsa, I'm thinking the last person left is Prospection, right? Every single time he has come through connector. Every single time. And he's won almost every single time.
They were watching that. They watched that angle. As soon as they were trying to get the bomb planted, the difference is Prospection, whenever he threw the incendiary grenade, right? So they eliminated Glaze, I believe it was Glaze or Kyber, I believe it was Glaze, over in Ticket Booth. And so they knew that area was open. They knew that Prospection was going to be coming from Catwalk to Connector. But the reality is you had, Prospection was there, and he had a perfect molly.
That is true. The point I was going to make there, Corey, is I think they can still slow it down. They know the person who it's going to be. They have a feeling of where he's going to come from. They didn't have to try to fight him. They didn't have to use that Molotov in their disadvantage. They could have taken a little bit more time to kind of figure it out, and I think that's where maybe their nerves or maybe their communication is getting a little rough. They're thinking they have 2 guys against 1. They'll absolutely win the numbers fight, which is not true, and we're seeing the numbers on the side of Perspection. He's 16-5.
I don't think they had time to think about it that fast. Because Prospection was already on the rotate. They just eliminated Glaze. I don't think they had enough time to be able to make that assessment. But now you've got Trinity Lord that's right there. And this will be their first gun round that we've seen come in for Tulsa as they pick them apart one by one. So, again, that was a lot of one-on-one gunfights that Tulsa won. And so now we might see an exchange, but let's take a look at the money because we haven't been paying attention to the economy from Miami. Sometimes you can get lost up in the game where you don't realize that a lot of the players from Miami have been taken out. So Saikyu's still doing well, but the rest of the team, he sees the backside of Obe and takes him out. And so, now we're seeing quickly. Now Hamza also picks up one as well. And so they're going to start to backtrack even further, regroup, and maybe heading over there towards the B bomb site. But look out for a second because I believe that, it is Prospection pushing up. So they've exchanged a little bit. I like the way that Prospection and Saikyu have been playing that B bomb site. They're changing their different modes, their different angles. So sometimes you might think that you're going to be facing off against an AWP. Other times you think you're playing against a rifle. And so an assault rifle, and so I like the kind of the exchange. Now you can see that you're going to see Saikyu now is going to try to watch over the apartments while Prospection might be heading back over there. So he's actually been boosted here inside of the site. And they're still taking the time. 50 seconds left here in the round. This is the angle that we see from Saikyu. He's got a good angle. Let's see what Saikyu can do. He's going to be the one that makes the call out. Saikyu's got this angle here, waiting for it. 40 seconds left here in the round. He's going to make the initial. Oh, and he pulls off of it. Why? Why would you pull off? He does pick up one, and there's the exchange. It's just funny to see. I mean, it worked out in their favor. They didn't know they was going to be there, but I think he was concerned about the flashbang. But a good job there, being able to close out that B bomb side on the 2-on-2 on that side. 9-4. Gun rounds come back, and immediately at that point, Tulsa is in a tough money economical situation.
You all don't see it at home, but I have the biggest smile on my face because he said, "Why did he do that?" And as soon as I saw him get the kill, I kind of gave a look at Corey, and he just was like, "That's why he did it. All right." Sometimes.
No, he still could have got him, but because he had the angle. If he would have got flashed from that angle, that'd been crazy. So, but Glaze has got 2 right there.
Yeah, misses the flash, but might not need it. He actually flashed his teammate, which could hurt him a little bit. That's going to give him some room on the bomb site, but the rest of the team's collapsing. It is now all down to a 23 health to Ginger, and that's not going to close it out. So that is 10-4 as we go into the last round before the half. Corey, well, this started off really hot for Tulsa, so I'll be curious to see how much they're able to ride that momentum into next round with their pistol. If they're able to pick, because they got 3 rounds off of that pistol alone, and then from the rest was history after that. Miami's just been on an absolute tear, especially from Prospection. He's 20-6 from what I saw.
Yeah, one of the things I like about this is the way that Miami decided to play. They went for full saves. They immediately wanted to get to the gun rounds as fast as possible, even though they lost the pistol round. They wanted to get to the gun round. So they didn't try to do mixed buys. They didn't kind of clutter it with extra stuff in between for the second and third round. They bought exactly what they needed to during those rounds without overbuying. And so that allowed them to immediately get to the fact that Trinity Lord and Saikyu could have their AWPs while the rest of their teammates had full nade sets. And then after that, they just relied on the fact that they could win gun rounds. And right now, we've only seen 1 gun round being won by Tulsa at this point.
Now Glaze finding himself in no man's land as he's surrounded. He's able to get out of there, so sacrificing the positioning but saving his life. And now he's got some good information. He knows that there's at least 2 mid. He saw them again, so now he knows his team's going to start rotating on over to the A site. So Prospection, once again, still in this round, and it looks like he's actually coming from CT this time around. So they've got Connector. They're not worried about him, but Saikyu able to find a nice pick there. Prospection, as we mentioned, coming up to Ticket. There's already a smoke waiting for him. They haven't gotten the bomb down yet, and that's another pick for Trinity Lord. Now they've got 1 down at CT, and now they've got the bomb down. So this is going to have to be a retake from the side of Miami. We've only had to see this a couple times, and they've got pretty good positioning from this stuff. They don't have a lot of life, but they've got the AWP on Psycho, and Trinity Lord is in. They're both in Connector in jungle. They're picking.
You got two oppers that are going a bit, so it doesn't really make a difference of what the health is from these two players. There now, Trinity Lord realizing the fact that he saw an AK, he can leverage this one, but he will get dropped there by Hamza. And Saiku with the op. Now they know exactly where he's at, but he doesn't have a whole lot of time here. He picks up the M4. Bomb still ticking away, and right there, he's got the smoke. He's right line. Can Ginger pick it up? And yes, he does. Sprays perfectly where he needs to. And finally, another gun round comes in for Tulsa. 10-5 is your first half score as we kind of break down what we see there. Perspection, who's been on the heavy rotate. He's got, I wonder how many of those 20 kills are actually mollies. Because, wow, he's, again, has some really, really good nades that have fell into place.
10-5 is a score as we go into this next half. We'll have to see if Tulsa can get this pistol run and momentum started for themselves because we know that they need it. So I'll be curious to see how they play Miami on this side. We saw a lot of clean rotations coming over for Perspection, as you mentioned, and I wonder if he'll play that same connector side as he seems very comfortable with it. Now we see three people stacking towards the A side, one playing on connector. They've got some pretty good visibility of where the team might be at, but ultimately it's going to come down to the fights. And as soon as I think they find one, they're just going to run on in it. They're trying to get closer up to mid. They see that one's not there, but I think they might have the information they need on the side of Tulsa.
Yeah, so they know right now at least they've got two players that are inside of mid. Now, Obe, this is the challenge that you want to be able to take. And so Dejinja's going to be able to have some support there. They're getting some crossfire. Finally, they realize Dejinja picks up a second one over there towards A ramp. He's holding down the site. Now he's going to – this is a smart play. He needs to retreat back, allowing his teammates to be able to reconnect with him as they're going to be battling it out here inside of A. Obe just on the other side, and he's going to be supported there by Hamza. Trinity Door picks up one, now down to a 1-on-3. They know exactly where he's at. He's sandwiched here inside of connector, watching has to turn around on his flank, and he does not get approached there. 38 seconds left. Bomb is dropped over there inside of jungle.
Yeah, this is a mighty task to do, but he's only 3 headshots away from taking it, so we've seen crazier things happen, Corey, and I want to put it behind them. Tulsa's had very strong pistol rounds, and this is looking to be another one. The Ginger's holding down the angle. As soon as Training Lords pokes out, we're going to expect him. There it goes. So smart play from him, as you mentioned, was catching himself off guard. He just ran away, waited for his team to rotate exactly as he needed to. Then Bomb went down in jungle, and that was all she wrote. So, again, Tulsa finding a pistol round for themselves. And the question now is how much of this momentum can they roll with? We saw last time it got them 3 rounds before Miami started to make somewhat of their own run, and now we're just seeing a fast Palace hit.
Yeah, typically if you win on the T side pistol, you get another 3 rounds. If you win on the CT side, which they're on right now, that can kind of exchange. Here comes the MAC-10, or sorry, the MP7, as they kind of have a quick little trade there. Now left up to Glaze. That's going to end up that one. So a quick little round. 3 kills coming in for Purper. And so this is where we kind of look at it, depending on whether you get the bomb plan. This is what I was talking about. So if you win your pistol round on the CT side, which what they did just now, usually you might see an early gun round coming in. So this round's going to be a little tough for them. But if they want, like they did on the first half where they won the pistol round, it was a little bit different scenario because the weapons are more expensive on the CT side. Ooh, Scout through the smoke. Saiku getting tagged there. This is going to be an interesting round. You still see you see 2 MP7s, but there's a FAMAS and an M4. Everybody's got head armor and has decent nade set. I think we'll see Obe later on in the game probably elect to get himself an AWP. So that's why he's kept himself at that kind of price range.
But we're seeing now, it seems like Miami's just trying to find any information that they can, and the bomb is starting to make its way over to the B apartments. So we saw Perspection in his comfortable spot in connector, and now we're seeing the whole team rotating over from the apartment, so that's going to be a B hit. But on the side of Tulsa, they've got 3 people there, 1 in market, 1 in the backup side at bench, and now the Molotov's gone down. Glaze is finding himself in an uncomfortable position, but finding 1 pick, and that's going to be a good start. That might even call for the rotation to come over as we see 1 coming through connector, and now they start trickling out. There goes 1, O finding 1, and Hazza finding the other, but that's still the bomb down on the site. Now the Ginger's got a lot to do on his hands, but Obe's able to support him, finding another one, and now there's actually a flank coming from Purper. They might not expect it. Obe getting mighty low himself, and he doesn't quite see one. He sees one, but they see him back, and that's the bomb, and now we're in an uncomfortable spot. Oh my gosh, Kyber is just getting these free shots. He saw him rotate, but now it's the Scout. It's 1 hit kill at this point. Corey, I think I already know who you're rooting for here in the scout, but if he misses one shot, that's going to spell it out for him. He's got the bomb. He's got a plan. There's 10 seconds left on the clock. He's going to fake it.
Smart bait. The fact is you know, and then Kybrid immediately goes for the plant to get that additional money. Oh, that's again these players are playing by the book from Miami. But Tulsa did a really good job. I felt concerned for them just because they were going to be tough through. But now you look at their money again. So like it's one of those scenarios. You try to make the decision: do you buy together or do you save together? And what happened in that previous round was a few of the players bought, not all the way, but they bought enough. They bought beyond the point, and now that put in the rest of their team where they're now going to have to be in a save here. So what was a nice pistol round to help them out kind of worked in their favor. But earlier in the round, we saw that, and it's been a while since Mirage has been changed, but that lip that's right there, in the past, you could be back in that area by White Van and not see over the top, but now that since that railing is gone, they were able to get that shot there, as you saw against Tulsa there.
That was a great find for the Ginger. He was able to take out one before he was exited out from the server. And this is actually a great rotation. So Glaze went to B apps and saw two players on that side, and then the rest of the team just took A main and went straight onto the site. So great recognition from them. They were not able to rotate in time is Tulsa, and now it looks like they're just trying to find any exits that they can. They don't really have anything to lose at this point other than a scout and a 5-7. They would absolutely love to get these AKs out of the hands of this team. I don't think Miami's going to try to get aggressive or push out here. So I think both these teams are just kind of
Glaze is the one that's on the lurk, and the reason for that is because he's got himself a Galil. He's going to try to search it while the rest of his team has AKs. So they're going to go together, right? So that's the smart call. You don't want to necessarily get dropped there. They're going to search see if they can find any weapons inside of that bomb site. There would have been one. From prospection, but they didn't find one immediately right outside of market. So again, they were trying to see what they could find. As we look at it, and Hamza decides he went ahead and bought himself a Deagle and armor right away, and that's what his weapon set's going to look like whenever he had a teammate luckily drop himself an M4. So this is going to be a full gun round. Dejinja does not have nades, neither does Hamza, neither does Mop. So that's actually going to be a kind of a big moment. So they're not going to be able to slow down any pushes. Dejinja trying to play extremely aggressive, and he'll get taken out there.
Yeah, we're not seeing too many over-rotates from that.
Bad smoke, too.
Yeah, it's not a great smoke, but once again, not seeing too many over-rotations on the side of Tulsa. They're still holding 2-2, and they've got one guy now swinging onto Connector. But now we're starting to see 4 players stacking on the site. 4 players, and we're seeing the one flanking on towards the B site. Getting taken out, and that might cause the rotation in. We're seeing 2 players going down on the side of Ohio. One left in Trinity Lord, and that might just close it out. Yes, it is. That is a clean hold there from Tulsa. That's what they needed. They had to put a stop on the bleeding for some of these rounds. They only found 2 off the pistol, and then after that, Miami, Ohio responded with their own 2, and now Tulsa's got 1 of their own. So it seems like we're doing 2 and 2 trades, and that could work out for Tulsa as the money is going to be there for them to have some weapons going for them. Per still sitting with nothing. There he goes. He picks up the M4. And on the flip side, Trinity Lord sitting on that Mag 7. We're seeing an MP9 even. And then Glaze with the Galil. So looking to take a slow, quiet B hit here. Last time we saw this on the flip side did not work at all for Tulsa. They ran and jumped from heaven into hell, as you coined the term. I wanted to use it just because I thought of it first. You just got the opportunity to say it before me. And now there's the same smoke we saw from Tulsa that's going to land in market. With that, it looks like they're going to try to make their push. There's no Molotov on the ground just yet, so Mop's able to find one. Has us finding the other. Psycho, nice connection there, but the third not taking place as Mop was flashbang. Mop, again, finding another one, but Prospection's going to be the guy who's going to do it all. We saw him do it before. This time he's on the T side. He's got only 9 health to work with. He's got every angle to worry about, and that is, with the AWP. I don't think he quite sees him yet. One of them's got to give. No. And there's the Molotov. He's got 1 health. There's 1 health in a Dream, but it turns out the Dream was a nightmare, and that's going to be round number 9 for Tulsa. Once again, Corey, 2 rounds each side. We've seen 2 starting for Tulsa, and then we saw 2 starting for Miami. Now we've got 2 starting for Tulsa again.
Yeah, that battle going back and forth between 2-2-2 doesn't work in favor of Tulsa. More so because of the economy. You're not going to see that work well for them. Of course, the number game, at that point, Miami will take it. But we'll see. So you got a nice little save here. They all kind of kept themselves around that 2,000 number. Glaze, he must have bought a Deagle for a teammate. Unless he was at, no, 1,900 bucks. Yeah, they won the previous round. So yeah, he just got himself all the way down. So they're in full save here. See what they can do.
That's a great find right there. Able to trade 1 for 1 there when you only have pistols and get an AK for yourself. That is great news and Perspection. Very comfortable in this connector spot. Maybe that's why they gave him the AK. We saw what damage he could do with that on the last half, but now Mop is getting a good spot towards connector, and that could do a lot of damage. Obe already finding 1 in Perspection. That's going to be the AK falling down. There's only 2 players left in Trinity Lord and Kybrid. Both a lot of health missing. Getting the jump over to connector doesn't catch him off guard. Still there, actually. I thought it was him going down, and he might actually find him off guard. And taking the AWP out of the hands could be critical.
Yeah, that's a tough shot to be able to make. He's fully committed to this. His whole backside mid is open, windows open. He is completely committed to this, and now he's going to start to be concerned a little bit and realizes that he's never going to get peeked here. So he jumps and then he gets dropped there. Just the patience from Mop. There's no reason for him to give it up, especially whenever you've got some type of eco scenario there. So 12-10 in favor of Miami. The question that I was wondering whenever we were watching the first half is, who is the actual entry fragger for Miami? And that's something that you really need from the offense side is on any map. And so I haven't seen it yet. Who's the one that's actually getting the openings? And I feel like there's, it's a little bit of a slow play here. And they kind of, that's one of the downsides to a full team aspect, is that each player starts to rely on one another. And then at that point, though, whenever you don't have somebody that just goes in without any respect, it's just tough. It's gonna be, I think it's tough for them to try to kind of tie some rounds together. Remember, this was 10-5 in favor of Miami, and now we're at 12-10.
I think the closest we've seen to that is Glaze. We saw him peeking a lot on the B apps, and there he is once again. We see him on the top of the screen. He is sitting in B apps. He's, I would say, the closest we've seen to an entry fragger of what you mentioned, but everything else, it seems like they've been trying to work as a team. No one necessarily taking that first step forward. If anything, we've seen Perspection doing it on the CT side, but a little bit slower this time on the T. So it looks like they're just holding positions. Purple are able to find one down mid. That's going to slow them down, and they're going to see that's actually the bomb going down too.
Yeah, it's luckily it's in a good spot. They were able to pick it back up. But again, it looks like Miami's playing this as if they were as the counter-terrorist side. And so there's and the slow play has changed when they were out aiming Tulsa in the beginning of the game. It slowed them down so much, and again, playing that timid, playing that passive, has really started to make an impact on Miami as a overall. Now they are still in the lead, and they do have some really good play. And oh no, Mop! And you're starting to see these players from Tulsa start to get really hot right now. Now Perspection, he's gonna be the last one. He's gonna get dropped as he was jumping out. A nice little clay pigeon there for Obe, and so now it's 12-11. What do you see there?
Well, I'm just going to call out the Perspection. When we went into this half, he was 20-7, and now sitting at 24-15. So I think great job by Tulsa just slowing down that key fragger on that side, really shifting the momentum and really just taking control of this. And now we're seeing the Deagles coming out once again. They're going to try to stack 5 mid is what it looks like. Seeing what they can find, and obviously those Deagles, they pack a punch. We've seen many times is turning a corner and one digging someone can kind of just change the whole round. They know that, Mob's been holding that angle with the AWP trying to push forward, and now pushing through the smoke. Purper able to find one. That is Psycho, and Purper finding another one through the smoke. And the third's running through, but he's got support from his team. That's out. The Ginger's supporting him from the back, and that's going to nearly close out the round, but Kybrid finding one first, not going down without a fight, and it's all up to Glaze, the guy we were talking about. That entry fragger is what we've seen so far. He is in mid. All eyes are on him.
Timing.
Oh, he's at lower mid, excuse me.
Yep.
Now he's making his way. It seems like he's comfortable with the BFs. We've seen him every round. And really what you're looking for here, Corey, once again, is something we've always been talking about. You're not looking to win the round. You're looking to at least take some guns out of hands. If he can somehow get this bomb down, that would be an absolute win.
Yeah, that Deagle Blaze that he's got there was the very first skin I ever got dropped. And I sold it for $50.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Oh, well, he finds one, and Mop actually misses the shot. This could give him the opportunity. Doesn't get the opportunity. Mop was ready for it. Didn't get the bomb down. The rotation was coming through, so it would have been a tricky situation. But at least he got one gun out of the way. Corey, so back to the conversation. So Glaze's blazing Deagle. I just had to say it, sorry. I see that you're giving me a look, everyone at home, just so you know. When Corey gives you a look, that's how you know you can't talk anymore. But you sold it for 50 bucks. You didn't tell the people who you were? You didn't say, this is Corey Dunn's Deagle? You didn't say anything like that?
No. I didn't even tag it. It didn't have a name on it or anything when I sold it. So.
Wow, what a deal. I guess you could say it was a done deal.
Yeah, some would say that. I wouldn't. I would. So 12-12, as we'll see. I mean, again, the play styles just dramatically changed for Miami, and Tulsa's got a lot. I think they've got a lot of raw talent, and so now that it is Mirage. We saw a 10-5. Usually a 9-6 scoreline is pretty average for Mirage on whenever you're playing on the CT side. But still, like look. The game is stopped. It's almost like if we were listening to Sadakist and Henry G commentate, they just stopped commentating. That's what we'd be at right now. And I can say that because I'm close friends with both of them.
Nice flex, Corey. But we're getting onto the map, or getting back into the game now. So it looks like they're flexing their defense on the A site here. That is the bomb going down in the middle of the site, and that very well could be the round. So they've only got 35 seconds to work with. Now swapping out that AWP for the AK, and this is one of the worst places for a bomb to be dropped. Just out in the middle of nowhere. The rotation's already come through. They've got good angles on the site. There's actually still one guy lingering on the B site.
What are you doing over there, Hamza?
Well, he's running now. That's for sure. He has got.
Actually, I think that's.
Not able to find the spray, but Gender able to find Glaze over, coming through rotation on connector, and that's going to close it out. So once again, that bomb site being dropped, or excuse me, that bomb being dropped out of the middle of nowhere, really just wrote the end of that round for them. And Corey, to your point, we're seeing a much slower game here for Miami. I think they need to try something a little bit faster. Perhaps just try to get some utility out, throw off all the angles. They have nice smokes onto Market on B. Oh my goodness, look at them in spawn there. I almost thought there was going to be a pause there. They seem so confused, just running back and forth. It looked like bots when the round first started, just kind of bouncing off of walls of one another.
Hold your position. That's what you do whenever you have a bot, in case you didn't know.
Is what?
Whenever there's a bot in the server, you always tell them to use the radio command to say hold your position. I'm sorry for those that are actually people who play Counter-Strike. I had to share that with Jono.
Corey, I just was asking you to reiterate what you said to me because I couldn't hear you. But now we're on to the B hold. Wow, nice save there, Jono. And it seems like they're having to save this round with the Deagles, but they're going to get the bomb down, so that's going to be money in their pockets. And it's actually a 3v4 retake, and they've got nice positions. Actually missing the shot. And he's finding it, redeeming himself on the second one, so now this should be a much easier time. Glaze finding one. If they're able to get a gun, this can be doable. A nice 1D from Glaze. Not enough, but that is a scary round if you are Tulsa. They almost got away with that, but that is a good round for Miami. They got some guns taken out. Sure, the money's great on the side of Tulsa, but good to see that the guns taken out. They got the bomb down, and they've got money for their side. So I think they're going to have 2 rounds coming up that they have to fight for right now. They have the opportunity to stop trying to fight for overtime, and if it gets to that point, once again, they'll have their loss bonus. So I still have the ability for 2 rounds.
Yeah, so one of the things I'll share with you, though, the fact is that Miami, they hit the bomb site. They didn't wait. They didn't slow play it. They hit it with the Deagles, and that's what got them that opening. If they had weapons, I feel like they would have been able to have that round. And again, they changed their play style. That's what they need to do. They have to have the same confidence. They have to hit something, and they're just not doing it. And so hopefully right now we'll see them get set up for a quick execute, because their one-on-one fights are just not happening. Although Perspection does pick up one in exchange, there was a nade that's right there. Now Kybrid, there's no trade there. You're just not seeing the trades happen now. And then Dejinja, who's stuck there in the back, and Saiku is right around the corner. He's got one player. It is on a 3-on-3 right now as they're trying to take over this A bomb site. And Obe says, you know, I'll hold this angle here. And Saiku, great flick by Obe. And the cross, nice shot though by Glaze. Ooh,
that was dirty.
Ooh.
Well, it seems like if there's one guy who needs to do it, it is Glaze right now. Finding one good shot onto Obe has given him the opening.
This is a really crucial round if Glaze can pick it up. He has a lot of time to work with. He needs to check all of his angles, but you can also see how passive both Mop and Hamza's playing this. And
there's no way he checks this.
He definitely checks it. Wow. He definitely checks that. And so, again, these are methodical players. We shared about it. No, great jump. I actually did that with the majority of our creative team at Esports Stadium Arlington to see. Yes, I'm calling out everybody that couldn't make that jump. I could actually make it backwards if I wanted to as well.
Wow, so Corey, previously you were flexing one arm, and now you're flexing both of the arms. So Glaive gonna have
I didn't even skip leg day either. I've got those 2 legs to be able to flex.
I don't know.
Too.
You wear jeans a lot. I think you're hiding something under there, but I think
pale
you're trying
white
to.
skin. Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say you're hiding. That's why I brought my sunglasses today, Corey, just in case I was getting blinded. But Glaive is about to make the 1v2. Excuse me, it was a 1v3 at one point. He might make the retake. Oh my goodness! Finds the instant headshot. That is a huge round.
4
we were
kills.
just talking about it, Corey. They don't even have to bang off the loss bonus. So, sure, Trinity Lore's not sitting on great money, but he's gonna get a drop, and they needed that desperately.
No, that was excellent watching. I mean, Glaze, the fact that he played that so smart. He went for it. He had a lot of time to work with. He focused on him, and then he found the opening. That was the other key thing there. As we'll take a look, what are you noticing here?
Just a fast A hit. You said it.
Oh, there it is.
When
All right,
they run out, they get
crushing.
the site.
So they're starting to crush now. Heading over here towards this bomb site. We're going to see if they can do any more. Purper is, man, in a tough spot, but he does take one out from the grave. And Mop on this rotate on the connector. They do have the bomb. Bomb is inside of this site. It has not gotten planted yet. They need to have the bomb planted to be able to leverage this time. You can't just rely on your raw gun skill, because there you have it. It was a 2-on-4, is now down to a 2-on-2. And right over on top, that's a terrible position to be in, Glaze. As so now let's see, nades coming in, raining in, and Kobe, rest in peace. Man, Tulsa doing a great job on that retake, but Miami, whenever you think about it, they had the site. They did so good getting into the site. They just didn't get the bomb down fast enough.
Yeah,
if they would have got the bomb down quicker, I feel like they would have created more tension for Tulsa, and they would not have been able to retake that site the way it was. I take back what I said about from Glaze. Why were you watching that position? He had a teammate that was up in Palace watching over there towards stairs. All he had to watch was over top of the box. It was not a terrible position. I retract my statement there. But, man, I really think that Miami has such great potential. But Tulsa, match point, as we're still in the upper bracket rounds.
Exactly, and that's the biggest thing to note is that Miami has to play for overtime at this point. So if they win this round, if they walk away with enough guns, they will have a favorable position to try and enforce overtime. And as you see here, they're trying to take that slow hit. They've got a 3-1-1 rotation here, or a split, as we can call it, with the bomb still in T-spawn. What was that, Corey?
So, yeah.
Well said. So we're going to go back into it.
There's the Jono, I know. All right, so I'm okay. I'm letting in. So you've got them all set up right now. They went back to their slow, methodical play, and that's what was wrong from before. We can kind of look at the overall setup across for the CTs. They're in their general default setup. You've got Purper, who's been watching there over towards connector. And what is this? Are they? Oh my God, they're over rotating. Okay, all right. I was about to say, DeGinger, you normally are over on A ramp. Who is that over there? That is Glaze, who's inside of apartments that is toying over there inside of B. Is he really causing that much of a distraction? And no, it's not enough, as the other bomb site, A, was trying to be executed on. And there they go, one by one. Here's a tight angle. He sees him. He catches the shoulder. I mean, one of the things, whenever you hold a grenade in your hands, your arms go lax, which makes you wider. And so he had an easy pop there on him on that POV.
And this is 10, so...
Ooh, 2-on-2, 10 seconds. He's got to get into the site. He's going to give away his angle.
He's got 6
smoke.
seconds.
There's a smoke. He's going to help out and support his teammate. Nice play there by Glaze. Wow.
Here's the question, if you're Hamza. Do you go for this round?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you try to be the champion here. You think you can be able to win it. He's got 1850.
That's what I'm saying. He's got his full set. That's a nice grenade. It does some damage.
I think you do it. I think you go for it. You try to win it. You try to do it now. So here it is, 1-on-2, working his way inside the site, checking all the right angles. He does not know. Oh, yep, just on the other side. Now he's going to fake defuse this. Oh,
no, he's not.
He sticks it. Pros.
Oh no, he's gonna stick it, and that's gonna.
Oh
no! Pros don't stick. Sure, he might be in cause, but he's looking like a pro, closing it out 16-13. Wow. Corey, we have seen 16-13 so many times so far in this event. That is an insane way for that one to go down. The stick of a lifetime for him.
That's kind of goes back to what you were saying just a second ago. Does he actually try to go for this or not? I say you go for it. And why not? You go even further for it and you stick the defuse. Wow. I mean, it's always a gutsy play. I mean, whether you could have, it was either he was going to win it or he wasn't. That's how that scenario is going to play out, and he won it. It's a 50-50 gamble. His team was already at map point, so there's at that point, go ahead and take the gamble. A glaze, your timing was just this off, just barely. You tried to peak at the right time, but you're just a sliver away. And so Tulsa is going to move on against Miami University. They're going to be facing off against UConn. Yep, that happened a while ago where we watched the UConn matchup against, I believe that was, against Oklahoma State. That was a tough game to watch. So we've got one more best of one in our upper bracket finals here for Group B. We'll find out whether or not we're going to see these players, who's going to actually be the first one to advance out of this Group B. Man, we'll find out more about what's going to happen for that game here shortly after we take a quick break. But again, John, what did you think of that real fast? I want to pull back and hear from you on how that map played out for you.
Well, as someone who always sticks to the fuse, just so I can always have to say, well, pros stick to the fuse. I'm a pro. I'm always holding to the fuse. That was the
term is pros don't fake.
Hey, Corey, you gave me the opportunity to talk, so I'm going to use it. Thank you very much.
Pros don't fake. Pros stick? That's just
wait, hold on, I messed up. Hey, I think we're ready for that break now, Corey.
Stick?
I think we're ready for it. But anyways, I think that was a great matchup. Tulsa, they were showing great. I'm not even gonna try, Corey. Tulsa, they played great. That was a really ballsy stick at the end there. But as you mentioned, they were either gonna go into overtime or he was gonna win the round right there. So I think they weren't guaranteed overtime, but their money wasn't in a great position, and so they had going for that was risky, but it paid off in the end, and they will go up against UConn in just a few moments. And Corey, I think that'll be an exciting one as well.
Yeah, Miami is not out of it yet. I want to reiterate how well Miami did play that game. They had a very, very solid CT side. The rotates were excellent. My only suggestion to them is the fact that they need to hit a bomb site together, hit it hard, work together. I think if you try to win your 1v1 fights, it's just not going to pay off sometimes. And it just wasn't happening. Tulsa was starting to win their 1v1 gunfights, and so in the end, you saw there where they won that 16-13 over Miami. They are not out yet. They get sent down to the lower bracket. They will face off against Oklahoma State University after our next matchup. That will be a best of 3. But stick around. We've got one more matchup in our upper bracket finals. We'll decide who's going to advance into the playoffs. We've got UConn. We've now got our new team, Tulsa. They'll be coming up after the break.